mean, there's those days when I just go, I wonder what her favorite color would have been. I wonder what her favorite food would have been. I was eating so much watermelon. I sit there and I go, I knew she was going to come early. I packed my bag because I knew she was going to come early. But I did not expect her to come early like this.
There's a nation within this great nation that is suffering. In every major city in America, there are areas set aside for them. An entire population newly termed as underprivileged, low income, and inner city that lives in conditions so deadly it raises blood pressures, causes diseases, and even raises the likelihood of death surrounding childbirth.
Starting out with the definition, infant mortality is the death of a child up to 1 year of age for any reason. One of the main reasons, in addition to SIDS, is low birth weight babies. So babies who are born prematurely, babies who are low birth weight because of some issue during the pregnancy where the baby is malnourished. Or babies who are part of multiple birth. Because if you have twins, triplets, quadruplets, each one of those babies is a lower birth weight typically than a singleton birth would be. And so whenever you have a risk of low birth weight babies, be it premature birth or multiple births, you are likely to see an increase in infant mortality among those infants.
As a Black woman, mother, and birth worker who grew up in an urban community, I myself deal with this condition on a daily basis and can see the effects that it has on Black people. Honestly though, at the onset of this project, I had no idea how much racism affected Black people in America, even as a birth worker, and I certainly didn't understand how racism affects infant mortality. Jeanette never got the chance to spend any time with her daughter because she, like many others, was a victim of this condition that's causing so many problems not only in Black communities, but in the Black body as a whole.
My daughter was usually up high, but it looked like my stomach had dropped. Okay, it looks funny. I sat down and it looked like I wasn't even pregnant. Stood up, went to the appointment, and the doctor said, how's her movement and everything? And I said, well, I haven't felt her move since the day before yesterday. Then 2 doctors came in with the ultrasound, and they put the ultrasound on my belly. Then one of the doctors called another doctor in, and then that 3rd doctor called another doctor in. So there's 4 doctors in that room and 2 nurses at the time. And they're looking, and the female doctor says, I don't see anything. And the other 3 doctors go, no. And I'm looking, I'm like, oh, she's sleeping. And the female doctor just looked at me, and I will never forget what she said. It put a permanent scar on my heart. She said, Miss Harper. I went, yeah. I'm sorry, but she's deceased.
Empress Lee Akins was stillborn October 4th, 2016 at 2:23 a.m. after a stroke of unknown causes in utero. It was 1 month before this interview was filmed.
I was also told, it's not my fault. It was the hospital's fault because clearly something went wrong, and I wasn't being monitored for everything. And honestly, clearly something did go wrong. My baby was perfect 1 week, and then the next week, this.
Based on recent CDC reports, the 5 leading causes for infant mortality in the United States are birth defects, preterm birth or low birth weight babies, SIDS, maternal complications, and injury.
Across all those reasons that there is a disparity in infant mortality incidence where African American infants are more likely to suffer from infant mortality for any one of those reasons than white infants. And so we like to counsel the mother to make sure, one, the pregnancy is planned, make sure, number 2, that she takes care of herself during the pregnancy, meaning good nutrition, physical activity, making sure that any conditions she might have, like diabetes or high blood pressure, are well under control during the pregnancy so that we can make sure the baby is as healthy as he or she can be when the baby is born.
After meeting Dr. Gordine, I decided to take a deeper look at infant mortality. It was evident that even though Black women can monitor all those variables of being healthy before she gets pregnant, we're still at high risk for infant loss. The United States population totals about 326 million people as of July 2017, with the Black population being at 13.3%. That's roughly 44 million African American people. Now, white people's numbers are much higher at 61.3% according to the census, which equals to almost 200 million people. That's 5 times the amount of Black people in the United States, yet the infant mortality rate for African American people is 2 to 3 times higher.
The rates have changed. They have come down some in infant mortality. The disparity between the races has not changed. There's still a higher infant mortality in Blacks than there are in Hispanics and whites.
In a CDC report ending in 2015, the national average decreased to 5.8, whereas white babies had dropped to 4.9 and Black babies stayed around 11.1. So the disparities are changing. They're growing.
It's the appropriate, to what's right for you. Not what's right for me, but what's right for you. And to be as healthy as you possibly can. Preconception care is something that we're really diving into now, because we see the effects of diabetes and hypertension and drug use on the infants and the mortality. And so many times, if we had the person in a healthy state before they got pregnant, they could have had a safe pregnancy. And that's really what we want to do. So getting women who are diabetics to have their diabetes controlled before they get pregnant makes a world of difference in how well the pregnancy outcome is.
She's right. On the CDC's infographic stating risk factors for premature birth, being Black was on the list. I'm pretty sure most Black women are Black before they get pregnant, so how does our color determine our health before pregnancy? How does the color of our skin make our babies less likely to survive their first year? And most importantly, why does being Black make us sicker than other races?